Hello, today I'm going to talk about the latest module. It is already in the Jackrabbit main indicator as risk mitigation. I have separated it out into its own standalone module, and that is the ever classic and ever popular support and resistance. It is one of the most powerfulest tools available to any trader, and it has a wide variety of uses that simply are unparalleled with many respects to trading. So here we have classic support and resistance. The black line, of course, is price action, sell signals, and the red line will be the buy signals. Red line is support, green line is resistance. Now this is the classic style, but I'm going to show you something that is equally impressive with the system and does quite well. You will need confirmation bias for this, and we're going to show and demonstrate a very nice property. For the primary support and resistance, I'm going to use a look back history of 89. For the confirmation support and resistance, I'm going to use a look back of 987. Both are Fibonacci numbers. So by using this technique, you can emulate and actually develop a paradigm far more powerful than what the main indicator allows. So here we have the darker colors is the confirmation, the lighter colors are the primary. We now have basically the equivalent of a Fibonacci without going through the overhead that the main indicator uses. Let's put this on the main chart. So we will move it up, and then most importantly, and this is an important step to make sure you have your numbers right, always pin to scale A when you have it on your main chart. Now the scale will be correlated properly with the candlestick size. So as you can see, this does very well. It works equally well with a trailing and with a dollar cost averaging module. For now, I'm just going to put the dollar cost averaging module on this with a very simple and classic setup, one I always use as a base point. Just this combination does exceptionally well. So now I have pretty much $600 budget, very limited scope, very limited scale, and, well, quite actually very nice profits. As you can see, only 3 purchases here, even though up here it shows a lot more purchases. So by coupling support and resistance with dollar cost averaging, you have a very effective tool. This is a simple step method. If you wanted to be more aggressive, then you would go to the price method. And even still, it does very well on a coin that I normally would not trade. So that's something to bear in mind as you're working. Supported resistance, either by itself or as I have done here, creating a Fibonacci effect, is one of the easiest and simplest tools in the market. Don't underestimate just how powerful this tool is, because it can really do an incredible job of getting in and out of the market in a reasonably good fashion. And you don't have to use the same numbers. For example, let's use, let's go with the 240 on the resistance history. Actually, let's list backwards. Let's do 240 up here. Let's do 90 here. Since I am working on the 1 minute chart, these basically represent minutes. Now for my confirmation, let's have the confirmation at 1 day. Actually, let's do our support at 2 days. Let's just see what we can create and what kind of effect it will bring. So you have a very interesting and yet a very popular time frames that create just on the base level, 46 to 49, a $3 profit just right here if he was to purchase one LTC. That is not bad. That is actually very respectable and a matter of simplicity, very easy for a couple of steps. This is something that would work well probably with the stop loss, even though I prefer dollar cost averaging for my trading. If you wanted to take it to the next step, you could. For example, let's take it up a notch. Support and resistance. And as you can see here, I've done the classic Fibonacci. And I have added a trailing. As you can see, right here the trailing has detected 46 for the buy price, 54 for the sell price. So again, with very simple steps and very easy approaches, very profitable. And of course my classic DCA combination that I stay with pretty much all the time. But I chose an aggressive price approach. And yet, even with aggressive pricing, maximum 6 purchases. So even if you wanted to really become aggressive, take a look at your profit boundaries. Very nice and very generous. Something to be aware of when you're testing. Let's see what the strategy editor says. So for a 1 minute time frame, it'll make $3. Now OTC is not always a good coin to work with. So let's see if we can find ZRX, again, a very profitable coin. Let's zoom this in. You can easily see the accumulation and the selling points. Quite reasonable. The amount of trades, not bad, and the profit. And of course, the part that everybody wants to know, how much is my exposure? If you was to follow this process, it would be $240. That can be quite expensive if you don't want to be that involved in one coin. But if you wanted to reduce it and become a little more defensive, then you could, and instantly down to $60. Not bad for a very simple process. As you can see, it does very well, even on coins that are typically difficult. Support and resistance on Bitcoin. Let's see what it looks like. The black line, of course, is price action, and as you can see, it does a good job. This would have been quite a sweet little profit. Now, of course, when it starts trending downward, you are going to see a quite steep accumulation process. Let's go to Black Thursday and the March-February approach. And you can, of course, use wider values than what I chose to control the support level even more. All right, I think I went too far. I did, I went right. Okay. $20.20, here we go. So that's it. That's Black Thursday. Quite frankly, that looks very unimpressive with this. Came in, did its thing, walked away with a profit. And this isn't even using anything else but just support and resistance. Not bad, and quite frankly, something I would even willing to put a few dollars in. This looks quite reasonable considering what the market went through. So even in the worst case situation, this does extremely well. So if you're looking for an easy way to track the market, support and resistance has always been the go-to choice of dozens of traders, both beginner and expert. And as you can see, this clearly demonstrates beyond any scope why it's so powerful. Even when you look at the worst case scenario, even in Black Thursday, only 10 purchases. So the most that this thing had, if you used an $11 position, is an exposure of $111. That is excellent. For such a simple process, that is very, very good. So make sure you check this out, test it, add it to your tool chest, and look at just how well it did. Don't underestimate the power of simplicity, because it can make you a better trader just by looking at the most simplest approaches. Until next time.